Hey guys, this is Tiffany again, and I'm back. Obviously, I'm with the Nerdettes, and we are excited to be doing lots of cool reviews for you guys. And this is for RWBY, and this has been one of my favorite shows of all time. Obviously, I love RWBY, love Rooster Teeth, and this is episode 3 of the newest season called Unforeseen Complications. And basically, it opens with Blake's dad and her family walking out to this podium, and he's obviously going to give a speech to the faunus, and he basically says that the fall of Beacon was a major tragedy, even with the complications and trouble and prejudice that the faunus have had from humans, different humans in the past. He still says, he considers the fall of Beacon and humans as a tragedy. And he tells them that Adam Taurus is partially responsible. Talks about Adam's plot to take over, not over the White Fang, obviously, and to drive the faunus into a war with these other people. And he's, I don't know if he knows, I think he does know that he's siding with humans to make this happen. So even though he, makes these claims that they want to destroy humans, he is still, making a point of joining humans to make this happen. He mentions that in 2 months will be a vicious attack. So so he obviously knows that there's a plan here, and that this major thing is going to go down in 2 months' time. So I'm thinking that with the way that the series is going, we'll probably see that by the end, most likely. And I surely hope they don't leave us hanging. Looking at you, Rooster Teeth. And anyways, he basically says that they need to go to Haven and protect it at all costs. And so in the crowd, Ilya pops up. Calls them traitors, to the faunus. Obviously, there are always going to be those overzealous, people in any group, and the people that think that their way is the right way and whatnot. So, she's obviously sided with Adam, and she herself makes a passionate speech about, how they are traitors, and that she asks where they were when her parents were killed and where they were when they were attacked. Why weren't they there for them, for the humans? And, of course, Blake's dad is trying to be, diplomatic, and also, obviously this affects him too. But, she, during this time, Son is kind of, going around the crowd and tries to, lunge at her, and she gets away. But, it's enough from her to make an impact, I'm sure, with some people in the crowd, and, everybody's going to have their own ideas. So, anyways, it goes back to Oz, and, of course, Oscar Pine. And he decides to, he gets Oscar to kind of go inside of himself, and he takes over the body where he's speaking. So, basically Oz is talking to Crow and to Ruby and Nora and Jean, and also to Ren, and basically telling them, all that it's his fault, that he's made more mistakes than anyone, like he always says. And we find out, which I've kind of guessed at. I mean, if you know the mythology of, the Wizard of Oz and just the idea of Oz, he, especially kind of what they've hinted at with RWBY, we could have seen a lot of this coming. So he admits that he's a cursed mage who has been cursed by the gods, and lets it be known he's lived for thousands of years, which all along I've kind of wondered if he wasn't the mage who bestowed the powers of the maidens, upon those maidens. So for winter, spring, summer, fall, if he wasn't the one who bestowed those powers on them. And now, even more so, I'm convinced that he did, because he actually says he was cursed by the gods because he failed to stop Salem in the past. So, I mean, that gives us a little, even more big nugget of information. I mean, what more is there about him that we don't know? I mean, it's crazy. But he basically tells them that they need to find the relic of knowledge, that they need to ensure its safety at all costs. And so big thing here is happening with Ozpin. And it goes back to Weiss, with the Bronwyn clan and in prison, basically. And she's in jail and obviously upset, and Raven, Yang's mom, comes and talks to her. She's like, I never thought I'd have a Schnee here. And they basically have a dialogue where Weiss says that her sister Winter, is in Mistral, and she'll come to find her, and tries to threaten her. And Raven just kind of laughs, and she's like, aren't you in the know? Don't you know what's going on? There is no one in Mistral. No one's going to save you. So, of course, Weiss has no idea what's been going on in Mistral or the world, because she's been kept as almost like a prisoner pretty much so far. So now that she's learning these things, who knows what's going to happen with that. But yeah, it goes back to Ozpin, and he basically talks about the plan is to enlist other huntsmen to join their cause, to, fight this fight and be ready when, I'm sure, when Salem and Cinder, with her now Fall Maiden powers, attack. And of course, Oz wants to whip them into shape. And I'm so excited because, foreshadowing, please let this be foreshadowing, he talks about how Jean hasn't found his semblance yet. So there is hope in my heart, finally, that we get to see, because obviously he couldn't even, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of guilt associated with it once it does come to fruition, but the fact that he couldn't save Pyrrha at the time that he wanted to the most, I'm sure when he gets his semblance, part of him is going to carry this, tremendous, I can't even imagine what that's going to be like, because, if he does find it, which I'm sure he will now that Oz is helping them, it's got to happen this season. I feel it, hardcore. Anyways, but Oz lets them know he's like, I was the headmaster, and lets them know that he's going to train them. So now we know that Ruby, he talks to her like, you can't fight without Crescent Rose, your scythe gun thing. So you need to learn some hand-to-hand, and it basically tells them all they have room to improve, and he's here to help them. So that should prove to be very interesting. Can you imagine if they start sparring with him? Oh man, whoo! Or obviously each other. That would be really cool too. So maybe we'll get another cool episode like the food fight scene. I want another one of those, Rooster Teeth. Anyway, and basically it ends with Weiss in jail still, and she's got her semblance, like she's summoned her knight, if you will, and she seems to be concocting a plan and nods at him in affirmation, and that's how the episode ends. So what she's planning, I don't know. I'm sure we'll see it next episode, but obviously it has to do, I'm sure, with getting out of this prison and moving on. So yeah, that was the review for Unforeseen Complications. I'm really excited to see more, and hopefully there will be more episodes that I'm sure it will just keep getting more epic. I'm sure we'll see a lot of cool training with Oz and the students, and also please let Jean get his semblance. Thank you kindly, Rooster Teeth. Thank you. But yeah, so I will definitely continue to do more reviews of RWBY. I also do reviews of Walking Dead and The Orville, as well as Star Trek Discovery. We'll be doing reviews of Doctor Who, as well as Game of Thrones when they come back, and many more shows, I'm sure. We've already done Stranger Things 2. That's already done as well. We do unboxings of Loot Crate and Loot Anime, as well as Owl Crate, Scotchbotch Japanese Snacks. We try those live on the air for you guys to watch, and give our reviews of each of the snacks and candies, and it's a lot of fun and really hilarious, so check that out. I've got Fandom of the Month coming, as well as Anime Bento, so really excited for those, so definitely check that out. We're giving away a copy of Destiny 2, so if you want to win a copy, or if you know someone, maybe you want to give it to a friend or family member, there's a video on how to win your own copy, so check that out. And we'll be doing a lot of cool giveaways as we ramp up to Christmas. One of my favorite things to do at Christmas is to give back, and I think the best way to do that is to give back to you guys, because you're awesome. So definitely go ahead and subscribe, because we'll be announcing those in November, and ramp up more and more awesome prizes as it gets closer to Christmas. So if you want some cool stuff, or if you want to have some extra gifts maybe to give to friends or family members, this is the best way to do it. So definitely go ahead and subscribe to get ahead of anyone else that may want to enter those contests, and that way you know whenever it comes available. And we really appreciate you guys stopping by. Hope to see you back again, and thank you for watching. Bye guys.